Next on the news, his canonization is quickly approaching. This weekend, St. Peter's Square will be filled with faithful watching Carlo Acutis become a saint.
One of the people in the crowds works in the Diocese of Brooklyn. I'm Katie Vasquez, and I caught up with him ahead of his travels. That story is coming up.
A red storm brewed in Queens over the weekend as more than 2,000 students moved into St. John's University. Plus,
he recognized the poor, he recognized the enemy, he recognized the rivals, he recognized humanity.
The Diocese of Brooklyn remembers a Passionist priest who brought unity after World War II. How you can honor the legacy of Father Fabian Flynn in Queens. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. It's the moment millions have been waiting for, the official making of the first millennial saint.
I won't call it a privilege to be there, I'll call it a blessing.
Now it's less than a week away, and the countdown to Carlo Acutis' canonization is on. Thousands upon thousands of young people from around the world are expected to flock to Rome this weekend to see a teen from Milan who used his tech skills to spread the word of God become a saint. One of the faithful who will witness this important moment in church history was personally invited there by Carlo's mom. Currents News' Katie Vasquez has that story from Glendale, Queens.
Before weekday Mass at St. Pancras Church, Juan Camilo Perez is making sure everything is in place. And then when Mass starts, he's in the sacristy preparing for the day. But this week, he will be one of a select few that will witness the canonization of Blessed Carlo Acutis.
We're going to be right by the altar with the Pope. I won't call it a privilege to be there, I'll call it a blessing.
Juan says Blessed Carlo's mother, Antonia Salzano, learned of his devotion to the soon-to-be saint and personally invited him, as well as gave him this unique relic.
It's one of a kind. It's a relic that it contains a part of his body. It also has hair. It has the clothing and a piece of his casket.
The Diocese of Brooklyn employee says his devotion started when he visited Blessed Carlo's body in Assisi a few years back.
Beautiful presence within me, and I just fell in love with Carlo, and I didn't know anything about Carlo.
As a digital influencer, Juan realized he had more in common with the first millennial saint than he thought.
I was one of the first people in the world making like live streaming on Facebook, and I remember I started doing seminars and preaching or doing reflections about the Sunday Gospel, and that's all because of Carlo.
He's honored to represent the Diocese of Brooklyn in the Eternal City and eager to share the experience when he returns.
We see holiness so far away from us, but we are called to be holy. Carlo became a holy kid, and we all can be holy. And holiness starts when we decide to be close to the Lord.
Juan is expected to head to Rome this Thursday. In Glendale, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
On the same day as his canonization, Currents News will be airing a Carlo Acutis special celebrating the life and legacy of God's influencer. Just tune in Sunday, September 7th at our usual time, 7 p.m. right here on Currents News. Juan Camilo Perez's music is world-renowned, even winning him an award that has been nicknamed the Catholic Grammy.
I praise you, Lord of all.
That was Juan back in late July performing at the Catholic Music Awards in Rome. The international accolade promotes singers who honor the Catholic faith and evangelize through music. And Juan won Best Pop Song in English for his hit Holy. The singer spoke to Currents News about the honor.
I was not expecting to win. I registered 2 of my songs, Holy and Vengo a ti, I Come to You. It's in Spanish. And I was nominated on 6. I got 6 nominations and I won 1 award. I didn't win in Spanish though, which was very surprising. I won. This is my first song in English, and I won the best pop song.
Congrats to him. Juan has 3 more music videos coming out soon. You could read that full story by going online to thetablet.org. Over in Minneapolis, the Annunciation Catholic Church community took their first step toward healing. The parish resuming their Mass celebrations over the weekend in the school auditorium. The church remains closed after last week's deadly shooting left 2 children dead and more than a dozen wounded. Pastor Father Dennis Zarin, who was presiding at the Mass the morning of the shooting, told parishioners things will never be the same, but it's a call to begin again.
We recognize that this is, for all of us, it's a humble beginning, and it won't be easy, and we'll never be able to get back to the same place. But what we do is we begin again. We begin anew.
It's unclear when Annunciation Church will reopen. The Archdiocese of St. Paul, Minneapolis says no Mass or sacrament will be celebrated there until the church is reconsecrated. Minnesotans are doing more than gathering for prayers. They're also rallying for action. Community members, youth leaders, and shooting survivors marched to the Minnesota State Capitol Monday afternoon, calling for a legislative ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. The rally also honored the 2 students killed and the 18 children injured, including one 5th grader who is recovering after shrapnel was found in his neck.
The first one, I was like, what is that? I thought it was just something, then when I heard it again, I just ran under the pew.
Weston was only 2 seats away from the stained glass window as it was shattered by gunfire. According to a statement from Weston's family, the bullet fragment is dangerously close to his carotid artery, and he will soon be undergoing surgery to remove it. Pope Leo XIV also joined the call to end gun violence during his Sunday Angelus.
Our prayers for the victims of the tragic shooting during a school mass in the American state of Minnesota. Let us plead God to stop the pandemic of arms, large and small, which infects our world.
Pope Leo also prayed for the countless children killed and injured around the world. The Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis has a Hope and Healing Fund to support those affected by the tragedy. If you'd like to donate to it, go to archspm.org/annunciation. Back in Queens, it was move-in weekend at St. John's University.
There you go.
Over 2,600 students settled into campus life. The fall 2025 entering class brings a 15% increase in first-time, first-year students, with more than 150 international students from 62 countries enrolled and 42 out of 50 states represented. Classes for everyone kick off on Wednesday. Meantime, Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan was praying with parade goers this Labor Day weekend. Bishop Brennan celebrated Mass at St. Matthew Church, which is located on Brooklyn's Eastern Parkway, right along the West Indian Day Parade route. Every year, the parish celebrates Mass before joining the parade. Finally tonight, Tuesday, marks 80 years since the end of World War II. And in the Diocese of Brooklyn, one religious order is remembering the legacy of a priest who tried to unite a fractured post-war world. Currents News' Katie Vasquez has his story from Jamaica, Queens.
As the Battle of World War II continued in Europe, a Passionist priest with ties to the Diocese of Brooklyn, Father Fabian Flynn, was on the front lines.
He volunteered into the Army as a chaplain.
Father Victor Hoagland, a Passionist priest himself, says Father Flynn ended up in Germany as the infamous Nuremberg Trials started.
In those days, fraternization with the Germans was almost forbidden. But he decided that he was going to have every Sunday a Mass at a German church in Nuremberg, and everybody would be invited.
When his military service ended, Father Flynn worked with Catholic Relief Services.
Refugees, hundreds of thousands were going through those lands. So Catholic Relief began its mission of taking care of the immigrants, getting them settled, getting them something to eat.
As a reward for his efforts, the German bishops gave the Passionist priest this crucifix in the 1970s, which hangs in the chapel at the Passionist monastery in Jamaica, Queens, where Father Flynn was also ordained in 1931.
That crucifix is extremely important because it recognizes that not only is Jesus on the cross, it's everybody is on the cross.
When people make their way through the Queen's Chapel, Father Hoagland has witnessed the faithful be comforted by the cross.
A woman came up and she put her hand right on that cross. And just putting her hand there, she's saying, I understand. There's some wisdom that's communicated to me.
As the world continues to deal with issues of immigration and war, Father Hoagland hopes others will be moved by the life of Father Flynn.
He recognized the poor, he recognized the enemy, he recognized the rivals, he recognized humanity.
And Father Hoagland wants to make sure the Passionist priest is never forgotten.
I have to tell them that story, because I know that they need that kind of wisdom.
In Jamaica, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
And that is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time. Social media age, you might call him Christ's top follower. Carlo Acutis grew up during the explosion of the internet, bringing God to the World Wide Web.
Through the computer, Carlo did so many evangelization.
Now he's a viral sensation. Kids all over the world sharing and reposting his story. And it's one that could break the internet. This teenager will be the Catholic Church's first millennial saint. A saint in sneakers.
He was around our age, so we could look up to him and try to do things that he did.
But before his canonization goes live, we're taking a look back at his life, the inspo behind an entire generation of young believers.
If I follow down the same path that he went down, I could become a saint.
His growing reach from Brooklyn and Queens to all over the world. The life and legacy of God's influencer, Blessed Carlo Acutis. Tune in on Sunday, September 7th on Currents News.